Welcome back to our Dream in the Woods. Just getting back out to the sawmill. It's actually been almost a couple weeks since I've been out here. Went on a little vacation, got back, then of course had to work on both ends of the vacation, so yeah, about 2 weeks. So while we were gone, we had 2 snowfalls, and so everything's dusted in snow again. When we got back, there was about 8 inches. And it looks like it's melted down since then. We've had some cold nights, but warm days. So it's early March, and the ground is still frozen underneath there. It's still thawed. I think that I'm not going to try to plow or anything. There's not enough snow for that, but we'll see how it goes. As Eric and I were finishing up the last time we were out here together, we took some time to clean out underneath the bunk and get all the sawdust from those supports there all cleaned out and underneath it so they could dry out while we were gone. But we didn't clean up all the debris, so that'll be the first thing, is to kind of clean up that debris, get it out of here, and then start getting some logs up on the deck. Well, I've been out here messing around, cleaning up. I got all the slabs out of that slab rack, and while the ground's hard and I'm able to drive on top of all the mud, so taking advantage of that a little bit. This log is out of the long pile, kind of that typical butt one that has a sweep at the butt and then gets pretty straight. So it's 21 feet, and I'm going to try to cut it in half and get 2 10 6s out of it, and hopefully get a 6x6 and a 6x8. This butt piece will be the challenge, because it does swoop out quite a bit, but see what we can do. Well, that first chunk made a 6x6 pretty easily. Second piece is going to be a little more challenging. It's the crooked one. I got a 6x8 drawn out there, and if that doesn't work, I'll bail out and get a 6x6 on it. So, well, get back to it. Eric just came over and did a little visit. He's feeling a little under the weather. Same with Beth. Both of them not feeling too good today. So anyway, 10-6 on that log there. Well, I was able to squeak out the 6x8. I did leave a pretty good amount of weight on there, but I think that's going to be acceptable. So that's a 6x8 by 10 foot, and then the other piece is a 6 by 6 by 10. So 2 timbers out of that one tree. Got a couple of 1x materials to edge up to 6 inches, and that'll be done with this one.
I want to go further.
Okay. Be so careful. Okay. You gonna jump?
Wow, good job.
Is my turn to jump?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, it's careful. Very careful.
All right. I'll try to be careful.
I'm not.
Okay. Okay, are you ready for my jump?
Yeah. It's jump. My turn. It's not my turn.
So in my long log pile, I just have these 3 really nice logs left. Looks like all 3 are at 21 feet. I have a 14, a 19, and a 16. All pretty straight logs. And one of them has a kind of a weird butt to them. That middle log there there was a little other, I remember falling that tree. There was another little tree growing right next to it. So I hate to do it, but I'm going to cut those down to 10 foot 6. So then it'll give me 6 logs, and then I'm hoping to get more than one timber out of, 2, maybe 3 of those sections. So it just is the most useful to my cut list with 21 footers. If I would have cut them differently, then I could make a different decision, but that's what it is. 10 footers, 6x8s. I actually cut one of those, so I need 6 of those, and then 6x6 by 10. I need 5 of those, actually 4. So I need 10 timbers that are 10 foot long, and then I might be able to finish those out of these 3 logs. So then I'd be done with 10 footers. Well, for timber wise anyway. So that's my thinking. Hate to do it, and I think I'm going to cut them over here. They're just so big. I think it'd be easier to cut them here and take them over one log at a time instead of trying to load these big behemoths by myself. So get to it. Well, I'm back out on the sawmill again this morning. I kind of left abruptly yesterday. I got those 3 big logs cut into 10 foot 6, and so that's my project today, is to whittle away at those and get as many 6x6s and 6x8s as I can out of that. In fact, I think those may fulfill all of them that I need, but I'm going to try to make a few extras just in case. So I got the first log up here. It's a dandy, nice and straight. And I think I'm going to try to squeeze 2 6x8s out of it. A couple of guys have asked me about cutting frozen logs or ice or anything like that. The saw itself, it cuts through ice just as easy as it cuts through wood. Frozen logs, I think, actually cut easier. There's less sap flowing in them, and the saw requires less lubricant. So yeah, I think some guys don't even run lubricant in the wintertime. So yeah, this ice here, I just kind of try to chip it away from my bunks and from my log stops. So my idea on the cut on this log is we're dealing with about a 16-inch by 15, somewhere in there. Anyway, this upper cut, I want to try to get at least around a 13-inch out of that. So then I can cut a 6-inch material on this side, 6-inch material on that side, and then cut that pith out. So that'll be the first cut, is to try to get about a 13-inch piece out of that, and then flip it over and try to do the similar down here, about 13 inches. So that's what's on the agenda. So pretty simple on the second cut here. I'm trying to get an 8-inch piece of material. So I'll just come down, put the saw at 8-inch, and then I'm going to try to target 1.5-inch material for my floor joists today, and see how many of those I can get. And so then I'll go up from 8 inches up to 9.5, and then see if I can get a board or maybe 2 boards out of the top of that. But so far so good. A little update on the Ripper 37s. I just changed the blade this morning. So that one saw blade did 7 long logs. So really we were cutting those in half. So 14, that's very good. So if that's an N of 1, so that's a sample size of 1 blade. So I'm not ready to give it glowing reviews yet, but it's close. So we got 10 blades to go through. I think at the end, I probably will, if all things stay the same, I'll probably be ordering those again when I need new blades. So those are my, I think there should be 8 of the Ripper 37s down there. I just got back all of my resharps, so there's 19 resharps up there. So I definitely will use those. Some of those have been sharpened now 3 times, so they're getting towards the end of life. I've heard 3, 4, 5 times possibly, but close to end of life. But I'll definitely use all those blades again. Okay, that was fairly easy to get a 13-inch piece. I'm closer to 14, so I could have snuck it a little closer to this opposite side, but that gives me my 8-inch, and so I'll cut my 2/6 out of that. But what's kind of interesting about this log, you can see the growth rings here, pretty wide, clear out to here. I don't know how many that is. That's maybe, 30 or 40 years. But then it just becomes super tight out here. So, I mean, there's probably 20 years right there. Maybe another 10 there. So, 50 or 60-year-old tree. But the last 20 years it just hasn't grown that much. And then that kind of brings you back into logging practices and selective thinning, and this tree should have been harvested 20-25 years ago, or at least the trees around it. So I don't know, kind of interesting. Most of the Doug fir here, definitely nice tight growth rings. It didn't grow up fast like some of those southern plantations that you see where they have, half-inch growth rings. But yeah, nice tight wood, should make strong timbers here. All right, so this was the final cut. This is the center of the log right there. And so kind of cut the pith a little bit. So this is the pith here running down. So it wasn't there, but then some pith in as that log. So I kind of cut it a little too close. If I would have had another 1/4 inch on both sides, it would have made a difference. But this is the weakest part of the tree, and I mean, it's there. It's going to add a little character. I don't think it's going to affect the strength on the outside. But if someone knows better than that, let me know. So 2 good 6x8s out of that. Just a tiny, tiny bit of wane on them, but this is the other one here. So just a little bit there. Add some character. All right, got the next log up here. It's about a 19-inch on the small end. Nice straight log, huge old sucker. 19 on this chart for cant size goes over 13 inches. If someone's interested, that is the phone number to this fella. You call him up, say you want one of those cant charts, and he'll make you one. I think he cost me $15. He's a cash dude. You can send him $15. He sends that to you in the mail. The other chart I use quite a bit is this custom built one here. So I have this, the right side is just a regular scale. Then if I'm cutting 3/4 inch, 1 inch, 1.5, 1 3/4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so that scale is super, super handy, especially if you're making 1, 2 inch material, whatever size, and he'll make that custom. We'll leave a link in the comments. Last thing I do, I get quite a few comments, is this plastic. This is a quilter's grid rule. So I think I bought this one at Walmart in the sewing section, but you can find them online if you look under Quilter's Grid Ruler. This is super handy because this is 6 inches wide for me because I'm cutting all 6-inch material, or most of my stuff is 6-inch material, but you can find them in all kinds of different lengths and widths. But the fact that it's see-through is super handy. The only thing that would be kind of nice, and I've been thinking about doing it, is mounting a level on it, just gluing a level on it, so when we bring it up it's level. It's not that big a deal. I mean, it still lays out the same, but when you're really close on a log, knowing where your lines are pretty precisely is helpful. Anyway, let's get into it. I plan on making so my goal here is I'm going to make the biggest cant I can, which is, that's a weird, biggest cant I can, and then cut 6x6s out of it. So cut the pith out of it and still get 4 6x6x10s. That would maximize this log for sure. All right, I canted that big log out here, so turned out pretty good. That's just under 13 and a half, and that's just over 13, almost 13 and a quarter. So should be plenty of material there to cut my 6x6s out of. Minimal wane on this top side, got a little wane on the bottom side, so I have to cut those down. So if I can eliminate some of that, I will. If I can't, I'm not going to worry about it. Got 4 1.5 inch pieces, and so I'll be able to make 4 more floor joists. That's another tongue twister too. Anyway, good material out of that, sweet log, and should be pretty easy to zip it up into 6x6s. Well, here's a little attention to detail error. I didn't clean off the face of this or the bunk, and so there was a little thin well, not thin, a bunch of sawdust there that actually made this timber rise up off the bunk. And so then when I was cutting everything to 6 inches, it started diving in here, and I wasn't sure why, but that was the reason, is it raised it up about 1/16 of an inch. And so now it cut this timber a little narrow. So I'm about 3/16 off, 1/8 of an inch maybe. So anyway, it's still fine, but that's just attention to detail why I'm always scraping and trying to clean and remember all those things, because it does matter. I did okay getting the pith out. There's a little bit of pith there, but basically everything's out of this timber. No pith at all, and then just that one little spot on this side. So last 2 cuts here, cutting these down to 6 inches. Man, nice looking lumber. Well, keeping at it here. This is another one that I cut in half, so 10-foot 6 log, 14 inches on the small end. That's my kind of layout there of what I'm going to try to do. Try to get 2 6x8s and then cut the pith out. So looks a little tight, but might be able to do it. I got the last log of the day up here. Looks like it's 16 inches on the small end. Eric's out here, pulled himself off the couch. He doesn't feel good, but he also doesn't like laying on the couch. So.
True. About 18 inches on this end.
18 inches on the other end, so it's a big log. So figure out what we're going to do with it. Get to cutting. So I really only have two things that we're trying to get, so it's the same thing over and over again. But 6x8, 6x8, nice big chunky log, so should be pretty easy. And then still targeting the 1.5 by 8s, just to try to get those cut up. Lots of things we could target as far as smaller pieces, but still targeting those. This is the last log I just finished up here. 2 6x8 by 10s. They look like they're in good shape. Got all the bonus material edged up. Look like 4 1x6s and 3 1.5 by 8s. So things are stacking up. Piles out here on the pallets look like they're looking good. That's going to do it for this video. Make sure you hit like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Of course, we appreciate those comments. We try to get back to those and have learned quite a bit through people leaving comments. So you guys have a great night, and we'll catch you with the next video.